gonna be so awkward. Hello, wonderful world. Elayne here, and I'm with my friend
Nicole.
And we are in Scotland doing a creative writing program, and we're gonna make a little video together where we're gonna rank the booktok books.
Yes, you probably have already heard of them, but
yeah, we're gonna do the popular ones, and we're gonna say if we've read them, if we've liked them, give you the tea on them.
Yep. Like, and maybe we'll talk about the author or whatnot, whatever.
Yep. Okay, to get started, we're gonna just jump in there with the book.
Yeah.
Nicole?
It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Do my ears always stick out like that? It Ends With Us.
Yes.
Colleen Hoover. She and I have very different thoughts about Colleen Hoover.
But It Ends With Us is one of the only books that I like by her.
How many have you read?
Slammed. All the Slammed books.
There's 2.
Okay, 2.
You read Slammed? Point of Retreat, which actually I just read. I finished it like 2 days ago. Okay.
I read Confess.
Mm-hmm.
What else do I have? On my book, oh, Maybe Someday.
Maybe Someday. Did you read the sequel? Maybe Now, I think it's called?
I don't think I did read the sequel.
Okay.
And then I think I read half of Ugly Love. That's the pilot guy.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
I've got something else on my bookshelf by her too that I've read, but it was
It's her old stuff?
I've really only read the old stuff. I did like It Ends With Us. I have a whole vlog about it. I'm gonna give it 4 stars because I loved it, and I loved like how it showed the like cycle of abuse. But I don't understand the point of Atlas. I didn't understand his character and like why he was in it.
Oh, I 1000% agree. And you know what's so funny is like, especially on BookTok, it's like everyone loves Atlas, and like he's not even in the book.
That's the thing. I had go on a whole rant about this in my video, my vlog. But if he's there to show her what a good man is supposed to look like, Colleen Hoover could have used the sister and her husband. And I don't understand, like the flashbacks are important to understand her parents, but I don't understand what Atlas adds to the story. No,
he doesn't add much. I agree.
Is it just to make a sequel with their romance? Like, I think that's the only reason he's in there.
I mean, she's only adding a sequel because of BookTok. My biggest problem with It Ends With Us is actually that there's no like trigger warnings for the book.
Exactly. I actually didn't know anything about it when I read it, and I was like, somebody had just vaguely mentioned that abuse was in it, so I was like, oh, okay. And I had no idea. Yeah, there's literally no trigger warning, and it's pretty graphic.
And the thing is, I read it before BookTok.
That's why I also don't... Okay.
I don't know.
Sometimes I feel like Colleen Hoover uses things for, like, shock value.
Yeah.
But I do think
We've talked about this. We do not like that. No.
No, yeah. But I do think that, like, It Ends With Us, she was uniquely qualified to tell because of, like, the end where she talks about, like, her life and, like, her parents' story.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I think that, like, not including trigger warnings and stuff is for, like, shock value. You know?
I didn't like that either, especially, like... I don't know. For me, I will say that when I read it, I was very upset. Like, I was very upset that I read that book, right? Especially because I had just read Slammed, Confess, Ugly Love, and then that was, like, the 4th book I'd read by her. So I was, like, confused. And the thing is, like, while you're reading it, you're rooting for him the whole time.
That's the thing. Like, I go back and forth because... by not telling me what it was about, I got to be Lily. And I got to fall in love with, what's his name? Ryle. Got to fall in love with him. I got to, like, be upset with him. Yeah. So it was like, I was Lily. Yeah. But at the same time, I didn't want to go through what Lily was going through when I was forced to.
I just wished that I had, like, I feel like people praise the books. And, like, you should only go into that if you're, like, okay. If you're, like, I don't know.
Well, I agree.
If you're strong enough. Like, and I also think, like... I know way too many people that have gone through that, and I feel like if you just read it thinking you're reading another Colleen Hoover, like, fun romance, that is so triggering. Hence, trigger warnings. Like, that's literally their purpose. Maybe it's not Colleen Hoover's fault.
Maybe like, it's like a publisher or...
Yeah, or like maybe even... To be honest, I don't remember if when you start reading the book, she, like, addresses trigger warnings. She doesn't? Okay. Because I was going to say, maybe it's just like a BookTok thing.
But on the back, it does say, like, sometimes the person you love the most is the person who hurts you the most.
Yeah, but still.
So I was kind of vague. Like, yeah, I agree. But, yeah.
I would also give it a 4 stars just for that. But I do think it was well done. Yeah, because when I first finished it, I was, like, very angry. I was like, I don't know why she would make me read this book. It was, like, I was very upset with Colleen. But then after...
Why would she put me through that?
All right, should we go into Taylor Jenkins Reid, Seven Husbands?
Yeah, but all these, that's amazing. And if anyone ever says anything bad about Taylor Jenkins Reid, I would literally unalive them.
But what about like old to new?
Oh, so good, all of them. No all hits, no misses, I tell you.
They're different.
They are. Her writing style has grown.
Yeah. I would say Malibu Rising. Okay, first of all, who's that guy that doesn't leave?
Mick?
He
just keeps effing coming back. McReva just keeps on coming back.
He's not like in...
in the early one?
Yeah.
What if he was?
It's so weird.
What if, like, whenever she writes, like, there was a man on the street, it's him.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think her new stuff is so... I feel like it's
Much
two different
better.
authors.
Yeah, I think that some of the central themes are the same. Like, I feel like she always writes about love, family, marriage.
Yeah.
But they're very different. Like, they're shown very differently in her two... She has, like, two eras. She's got, like, tragic marriage era.
Yeah.
And she's got
her first,
fake
like, 4
celebrities
books.
era.
Yeah. The last 3 books, Daisy Jones, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and Malibu Rising takes place in, like, the 70s, 80s era.
Yeah. And then, Evelyn Hugo
yeah.
is Golden Hollywood, so a little earlier.
Like, early 70s?
No, I think it's, like, the 50s and 60s, right?
Really?
Yeah, she's old as hell.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then I think it's, like, it goes through all the decades. Because it gets all the way to, like, Stonewall and, like...
Shit. I don't know if this happens to you, but I read so many books that I barely remember the characters' names. It's like, even, like, my favorite books. Like, okay, back to Colleen Hoover. Verity, one of my favorite books. I don't know the main character's name. I don't know any of their names except for Verity. That's because it's the title.
I never read that.
Oh my god, you have to. Even if, like, you're not a Colleen Hoover fan, it's way different from her other stuff. It's, like, suspense and romance.
I think I got it on Audible to listen to as an audiobook. I heard it's a good audiobook.
Really?
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay, can I be honest though? When I read sex scenes through audio, I laugh so much.
Yeah.
He put his... we like driving and we like... I feel like that's kind of how I feel like with a guy, and he starts dirty talking to you and you're like, this is not...
It's the same as an audiobook?
I just wish that guys were like how they were in books.
They went from Daisy Jones in the 6
to my sex life. I'm so sorry.
But speaking of you wish how guys were in books, is there a book about romance that we can...
segue to?
Yeah.
Oh, Love Hypothesis. Should we go into there?
Oh, yeah.
Like, she always talks to me about the 20-page sex scene.
There's a literal 20-page sex scene in
I read that book and I don't remember that at all.
I was
unfazed.
It was really impactful to my life. Well, like,
Ugh.
he literally is so much of it, it's all about Olive. Like, it's just all about her. And, like...
By the way, how beautiful is that name? Olive.
Yeah, well, it makes me think of Ant Farm. Did you ever watch that show?
Who's Ant Farm? Yeah. Okay, her name is Olive?
Yeah, the one with the memory. She could remember everything.
No, see, I don't...
I'm too old.
I'm like 3 years older than Elayne, and I feel like I'm a generation older. Like, I wasn't around for Ant Farm.
Interesting.
Were you around for Lizzie McGuire?
Barely. Like, I still watched all of it, and I still know it, but I think it was, like, while I was really young. But I still watched, like, Cadet Kelly and all that stuff.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
And The Love Hypothesis. I like it because he, like... Well, they're, like, doing stuff, and he's like, oh my god, are you a virgin? And she's like... Because, like, she's only done it, like, once.
Yeah.
And he's, like, keeps asking for, like, her consent. And, like, he's like, we've been drinking, are you sure? And she's like, yeah. And it's just really sexy. And then, like, so much of it is about, like, her. And I was just like, damn. It's just Olive's world, and we're just living in it.
It's, like, true. I think authors skip over it because it's, like, they feel like, how much can you write about that?
Yeah, but this lady knows what she's... And it was Kylo Ren fan fiction. And he's the love of my life.
Okay, see, I wish I knew that while I was reading the book.
Because it made it, like, I think Adam Driver is so
Me too.
sexy. And so when I was reading it, I was just like...
Have you seen the Marriage Story? Yeah.
Have you seen the picture of him riding on a horse? Oh my god, let me just show you.
How is that related?
Because it's so sexy.
Oh my god.
Guys, look at that. I would horse around with Adam Driver any day of the week.
And he's married.
Is he? Why would you ruin that for me?
He is. Yeah.
Okay, next.
Song of Achilles. I feel like everyone has read this book, and if you haven't, what the Like, it's so good. Do you like Greek mythology?
I do, but I am gonna be honest. I don't like my knowledge of Greek mythology is Percy Jackson, and I read those so long ago. And like we didn't really do Greek mythology in my school ever, so I did not know the stories of Achilles.
Yeah.
So when I went into it, I didn't know how it was gonna end.
Oh.
Like I've heard of Achilles' heel, and I figured
but you didn't know
and also
the story.
He didn't get shot in the heel in the book. He got shot in the back. And so I was like, where does Achilles' heel come from? And I had to Google it. And like in some stories, I guess he is shot in the heel.
Yeah.
Because like his mom dipped him. I don't even know.
So
but that doesn't happen in this version.
Yeah, so there's the River Styx, which Percy Jackson is dipped into, right? In the 5th book. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And then, like, that's how he defeats Luke, because Luke was also, like, dipped in the River Styx. And I actually did, like, a whole quarter with my class on Greek mythology, and we did the Iliad, the Odyssey. We read the Song of Achilles in a Catholic school, which was very, like, controversial, but I was very proud of myself for doing it, because the kids loved it so much.
Yeah.
And I feel like I had like the same experience with you with like Percy Jackson that it like threw me into that kind of world, whatever. I was super into it. I feel like this is kind of relatable in the sense like I feel like so many people are into Greek mythology because of Percy Jackson.
I agree, yeah.
But the Song of Achilles, like even if you don't like Greek mythology, it's a love story. It's so
because I didn't know that story
beautiful.
at all, and I loved that book.
Yeah.
I will say, I was a little annoyed. Like, I was ready for something to happen, like when they were at war for like 15 gazillion years.
Yeah, they're at war for 10 years.
I was like, come on. Somebody just do something already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the biggest fan of, like, war strategy. Like, learning, like, you know what I mean? Like, battle strategy. So
do you think they focused on that too much?
I don't think it was too much. I think I was just ready for it to move on by the time that it, you know?
Yeah.
But I really liked it. It has some really, really good quotes in there, too.
Yeah. I love Patroclus. Like, I love his, like, his place. Like, he I thought it was really strong. That he knows he's not a warrior. You know what I mean? Like, that's not his thing. And he ends up being a healer instead. I loved that.
Wait,
sort of.
How do you say his name?
Patroclus?
Oh, I did not say it like that.
How'd you say it?
I
hope I didn't get roasted on this.
I pronounced it Patroclus. Patroclus is what I think I said. I bet is it Patroclus? Patroclus?
That's how I've always said it. And that's, I believe how they say in the audio. That's probably why I said it.
Patroclus.
Patroclus? I've never heard it said like that.
Patroclus.
Oh, it's the British pronunciation. Let's do the American.
Patroclus.
Patroclus. Patroclus.
Yeah. I said Patroclus, so...
We ran to the wine store and we got a Pinot Grigio and a Spanish wine called, no, it's Portuguese, Beberanco? I don't know what that is. So, tell me when.
Whenever you feel like that. No, my camera
I spilled a little bit of wine. I just feel like I have to tell you.
Now that we have more wine, what's the next book?
Okay, next book, They Both Die at the End by...
Adam Silvera.
Okay, so... What did you think about the book?
You're just about to roast it.
I hate the book. I like one book by that author.
Which one? The
no, More Happy Than Not. I did not like that book. No, I didn't like the way it portrayed mental illness. It actually really pissed me off. He kind of uses mental illness in a lot of his books, which I like. I used to read a lot of books about mental illness, and I did not like the way it was portrayed in that one. It was like a crazy guy. He would keep having brain surgery to fix himself.
Is it sci-fi?
No. More Happy Than Not, I would pass on that one. But History Is All You Left Us is a book that I read by him that I loved. I think that was the first one that I read. I don't know if this happens to you, but usually, like, if I love a book by an author and then I read another book by that same author and I really don't like it, I, like, start to question whether I actually like the first book that I read.
Yeah.
And, like, so More Happy Than Not was the second book I read, and then They Both Die at the End. And They Both Die at the End, I feel like, did you like it?
I literally read that so long ago.
Before it was famous?
I read it in high school, like, a long time ago. I read, like, Adam Silvera books, and I read all of Becky
Yeah.
Albertalli books, and I was like obsessed with Becky Albertalli. Like Albertalli was like my password on everything. It's not anymore, so don't even try to hack anything. But it used to be, and I just wanted to be her. Like I met her multiple times. I like
Really? Where?
at book signings.
In Kentucky?
Yeah, in Cincinnati.
Wow.
I have like pictures with her and everything, and I have a book that's signed by her that says Simon Heart's Elayne. Like I was obsessed with her.
That's so cute.
But I don't, like, I really appreciate what those books meant to me at that phase of my life.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could reread them.
That's like so sad. I don't know if you've ever reread a book that you used to love and it's just, you realize it's not as good as you remember.
And I think it is really good for high schoolers. Like, I think if I were to read it now, I would be like...
I feel like that's good advice. We're in our 20s, right? So, like, the way we think about books may be different from the viewers. If that makes sense.
True.
So they both died at the end. I would have to say it's a pass for me because I read it and it was just like very like, it was just so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. But History Is All You Left Me was really good. Next is We Were Liars, which is literally all over TikTok. And now there's a new book.
Yes.
Because of TikTok too.
We Were Liars is old. I also read that in high school.
Yeah, I read that a long time ago.
I
feel like most of these, I have like a list of books for us to talk about, and I think I've read all of these before.
A lot of these are like old that are regaining popularity.
Yeah.
Like
We Were Liars is an example, yeah.
I give We Were Liars 5 stars in, what year was this? Oh, my little Mandala gave it 6 stars too. Mandala, if you're watching this, shout out to you. Mandala says, this book was beautiful and melancholy in an amazing way. I loved all the characters. I did not cry, but I felt like I should have. That was in 2016. Mandala, how old were you? 14?
I felt like kind of underwhelmed by it. But again, I feel like maybe I'm too old to be reading these books.
I loved it when I read it in high school.
Okay.
Because it was like, I remember this one part like really well where the narrator says like, I feel like monster trucks are like driving through my head because she was getting like headaches or something.
Yeah.
And I just thought that the way that the author describes things was really cool and pretty.
Okay.
And I loved the like shocking twist.
I was gonna ask you what you felt about the plot twist.
Yeah.
Like you
But
felt...
I was like, whoa, but...
I think that maybe I would have liked it if I had that moment, and I didn't.
Yeah.
But I didn't read it in high school. I read it, I think I was 19.
I'm like not very good at predicting books though. Like
I feel like I'm not either. And
like I read a book and I have no idea how. Like some people are like, I knew that. I can't really. I don't.
If
really
I figured out a book, it must have been bad. I don't predict. I don't predict books. Like I didn't predict.
It must
We
have
Were
been bad. Bad.
But I don't predict them. Like I didn't predict We Were Liars. I was just kind of underwhelmed by it.
When did you read it?
I was 19. I was older.
Oh,
but it was.
I think I was like a freshman in high school.
Okay. Yeah, maybe if I was 14. I don't know. It's really hard because I'm like...
Also, I feel like all the Outer Banks... Did you like Outer Banks?
I watched the first season and I thought it was really bad.
I didn't love it, and I feel like everybody who loves Outer Banks are like the people that would love We Were Liars. Because they're like the same age group.
Okay. You know, one time I hooked up with this guy in Sarasota. He lived on a boat, so we got to hook up in a boat. Like, whatever. He like studied archaeology and he would go like on these archaeological missions.
Yeah, like digs.
But like in the ocean, like I don't know.
Oh.
Like bro, I don't.
Ocean.
And
Why'd you break up with him? That guy sounds cool.
He actually came to Miami and like he rented us like a super cool like hotel. This was last summer. This was in my whole phase, guys. And literally, he was obsessed with Outer Banks and I don't know why.
Why is that so funny? How old was this man?
He was like, he's my age. I'm 24. Was he 24? He was either my age or a year older. I can't remember his
That's
age.
actually so funny.
He was obsessed with Outer Banks, and I can tell you that's the first thing I think of when I think of him. You know, he actually texted me not so long ago. I'm like, bruh. He's like, hey, just thinking of you. Why do guys do that? They'll be like, hey, just thinking of you. How are you? And I'm like, who is this? I hope my boyfriend never finds this video. He'd be so disappointed. Okay, ACOTAR. But you haven't read ACOTAR. So A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas.
You gotta put your face in the...
By Sarah J. Maas. Okay, Avatar, I will say I love, but I didn't love Throne of Glass. Throne of Glass is...
Oh, I'm the opposite.
But did you...
I never actually read Avatar. I will tell you, I've read the first, 50 pages about 8 times. I can explain to you vividly how this bitch goes into the woods and shoots some deer wolf, and then comes to her house and they're like, oh, we want new dresses. I've literally read that first 50 pages a million times, but I never got to the part where something actually happens.
Okay, if you can get through her new series where it's 1,000 pages and you don't understand
I'm sorry,
anything,
but Crescent City is so fucking good.
But you have to get 500 pages in to understand what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never...
Can I say what I think? I know what it is. You're older, so you can do it. You know what I mean? You should retry Akatar.
Okay.
No, I think you really should retry. Honestly, the smut is good. The world building is good. The characters.
I actually think Sarah
good.
J. Maas is so good at world building.
Yeah. I know Akatar.
Yeah, sorry guys, the camera's internal temperature was too hot. It's because there's no effing AC in this damn country. It's fine.
Continent.
Yeah, anyway.
Europe, what the fuck?
Yeah, get your shit together, guys. And they don't put friggin' screens on the windows, so these bugs climb all over my damn ceilings.
And a sloth. No. I meant, okay.
That sounds like a cute creature, a sloth.
A moth was on my wall the other day, and I will not be able to sleep unless that creature is dead or out of my room.
Dude, I killed a spider today and it stained my sweater, and I guess that's what I get for killing a living being.
Are you a vegetarian?
Yeah. It looks like it's gone, but there was a stain on my sweater.
Ew, that's so
I didn't
horrible.
mean to kill it. I tried to flick it off, and my flick was too forceful. I felt really bad, actually. So I guess karma that my sweater got stained by his guts.
When I was in college, I used to vacuum.
Vacuum the spiders? Damn, that's cruelty.
And they
would
would
die a slow death in there.
I'm gonna get canceled. Akatar. Yeah. Akatar. So, okay, world building, yes, Sarah J. Maas does really well. I feel like that's the best series. Throne of Glass, I had a really hard time reading it.
I don't know, I just love those.
I couldn't read past the third one.
I love the main character.
What is she? Celia?
Selena? But she has a different name later. What if they haven't read it?
Okay, fine.
Spoiler.
She has a different name. Figure it out on yourself. What are you
But
doing?
Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas is a masterpiece.
Okay,
but the second one, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I think I was depressed for a month because of the second one. The motivation for the characters to do what they're doing is just not there. It makes absolutely no sense. It's just, and I was really upset because in the first one, they never have sex, and there's all this build up.
They don't have sex?
No, but they do so many other things. Okay.
But they say it's smutty.
Oh, it's so smutty.
Okay, so why don't you tell the audience?
Well, it's other stuff, okay? And she's always turned on, her toes always be curling in her shoes, Hunt always be smelling her smell.
Like my poem!
Exactly like your poem.
I wrote a poem about my toes curling.
You're literally Bryce.
Yeah.
And everybody, I also got kind of annoyed because why does every single character in Crescent City want to fuck Bryce? Every single character that meets her is like, oh my god, she's so sexy, I want to have sex with her. We get it, Sarah J. Maas. Your character's hot. You don't need...
It's annoying because it's unrealistic. Even if you're hot, that doesn't happen.
But she's
In
really hot.
the book?
I even wanted...
Got a different issue. What would you compare her to then?
She's like Jessica Rabbit, but shorter.
Who's Jessica Rabbit?
You're older than me. This is Jessica Rabbit, guys. Can you see that? But that's exactly how I picture Bryce.
Why is she a rabbit if she looks like a human?
It was her name. She's from Looney Tunes.
There's so many questions. I don't picture rabbits particularly sexy.
She's not a rabbit. Overall, this is seriously an amazing book. I can't wait for the next one for so many reasons. But there's one glaring reason if you catch my drift, ... winky face. Because I wanted them to have sex so bad.
Next, The Midnight Library. I barely remember the main character's name, so. So yeah, The Midnight Library is all over booktok, and what are your thoughts?
I personally really liked The Midnight Library.
Okay. What?
So for those of you that don't know, it's about a girl who dies and goes to the Midnight Library, and she can pick a book that's if she would have made this decision instead of that, if she would have chose to keep swimming instead of quitting swimming. and she can read what her life would have been like if she made that decision.
Like alternate timelines almost.
And she can like kind of live what would have happened if she would have chose to do certain things. And I just thought it was a really intriguing concept, especially because the main character like struggles with mental health like problems like depression and anxiety and that kind of stuff. And it's cool because like in most of the timelines, like those problems still exist.
Yeah.
And so it's easy for us to be like, oh, well, if I would have done that differently, maybe I would be happier. But like that's not always the case. And so I just thought it was like a really powerful and moving premise. I don't know, like I don't remember much about the writing style because I listened to it on audiobook a long time ago. I just remember I really liked the idea of the book.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's interesting. This is probably one of the few books that I've read because of BookTok, because I think a lot of the books on BookTok I had already read. So that I have like, which is good because I have like a different perspective on it. The Midnight Library, I didn't love the writing, to be honest, but the storyline, I guess I didn't find it that moving. I wish I had like a more like scholarly sort of like,
That's really interesting because I think it's such a cool concept.
it is a cool concept. I just
didn't affect you.
it didn't affect me.
You wouldn't want to go back and read books about what would have happened if you did different things?
I would. I just didn't like the way he did it. Like I didn't find the storyline that moving. I didn't feel like, I think that if I had read the book 5 years ago, I would have liked it.
Interesting.
But
Why?
I think it's the same way I feel about The Selection.
But the Midnight Library is like for older people. It's really like for adults. It's not like a kid's book.
I think it has to do with the writing maybe then.
Interesting.
Because I didn't, like, I think the concept is really cool. And I'm very curious about that. But I don't know.
Interesting.
I didn't find it moving.
That's so crazy.
I didn't get the effect that people got. I find it kind of like cliche. I feel bad saying that.
That's really weird because I haven't ever heard anything like that before.
Really?
Have you? Do you know lots of other books like The Midnight Library?
No, I don't know books like The Midnight Library, but I know that other people felt the same way. Because I was seeing reviews on BookTok that also felt my way, and I was like, okay, so it's not just me.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, just kind of like, everything kind of felt like too picture perfect. I don't know, it seems silly because when you're dealing with like magical realism, it's almost like you shouldn't feel that way, but it seemed unrealistic, even though it is an unrealistic thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't like
Guess
it.
we just have differing views on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so now The Hating Game.
The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I'll sit up for this one.
I thought the book was very sexy.
The book has a very special place in my heart because that's like one of the first ever adult romance books I've ever read.
Really?
I read it before I left for GSP, so it was like summer.
Were you left for what?
The nerd camp I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was like summer of before or after, I think it was the summer after junior year.
Wait, is that the first smutty book you've read? Okay,
ever read.
So, like, wait, how old are you?
I was in high school.
So, you didn't read smut in middle school, like fan fiction and things like that?
Oh, I did, but this was the first like romance, like real published book.
Okay.
I wrote smutty fan fiction.
I was gonna say,
But this was like the first grown up romance, like where I was like,
yeah,
it's got a plot. It's not just smut. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, no, totally.
It like introduced me because in high school I was still reading young adult books and young adult romance, like and then The French Kiss and all that kind of stuff. So The Hating Game was my first taste of like adult fiction romance.
Yeah. So
I love The Hating Game. It's like I don't know if I accidentally based my life on The Hating Game or if it was just like a coincidence because like I feel like Lucy and I are the same person.
Yeah.
Because she works in publishing, which
right.
I'm not there yet, but like I'll
That's your goal.
someday.
Yeah.
And I was like obsessed with red lipstick, and she wears that flamethrower everywhere.
Yeah.
She like bakes cakes and brings them to her office meetings.
What's your favorite scene?
That's my favorite scene. That's really hard because I love the paintball scene, and he is protecting her. I love when she's sick. I love when he paints the walls her eye color.
Yeah. Even like the first scene, like where he like I in the elevator, right?
Oh yeah, and they put the stop button. Yeah, that whole book is really sexy. That's like my, like, it's like a fan fiction of myself. Like, I would want that to be my life.
So that's actually a criticism of the book.
What, that it feels too much like a self-insert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't mind it because I feel like I could self-insert it.
yeah, no, I actually liked that. I felt like, because we're
I
writers.
felt like I was Lucy.
Okay, yeah. So what would you like say about that? Because that's an actual criticism of it.
Oh, see, there was one thing that I complained about it. I don't like that Lucy doesn't really have any friends.
Right.
Like, ew, there's a literal, because freaking there's no freaking screens in the window. There's a little gnat in here. But anyways, I didn't like that Lucy didn't have any friends because I feel like that's not realistic at all.
No,
a publisher and all she does is work. She does have some things that make her unique, like she collects Smurfs. She grew up on a strawberry farm.
Okay, but the fact that she collects Smurfs,
I feel like she's like the quirk TM, like the original. I'm not like other girls.
So it's not a good thing.
Like
Like the
other
Smurf
girls.
thing, that was very cringy.
I thought it was funny. I like how they kept it in the movie.
No, in the movie I was like, no, why? Okay, you know what's worse is that in the movie they don't explain it.
You're right. They don't.
It came off really creepy.
Because
I actually forgot, and then I
you
was
were
like,
what the fuck are these Smurfs doing here?
no, I know. I was like, this girl's fucking weird. She's crazy. And then I like looked it up.
See, can I be honest? I loved the movie. I've watched it a million times, but I also hate it because I think it was really faithful. Like a lot of like the plot is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like Lucy's the mean one rather than Josh. Like, Josh was like cinnamon roll the whole time. Like he was taking. I feel like the actor is.
He was so cringy.
Yeah, because, and he's never really mean. Like, I wanted to see him being mean. I wanted to see hard, mean Josh. And we really got, like, him taking care of her, him in the paintball. Like, they had a lot of banter, but, like, Lucy was the one yelling. Like, Lucy was like, I'm gonna shove this up your, you know what I mean? And, like, the scene with, like, her tackling him. I wanted Josh to be mean. I wanted to see more of Josh. And we got it. But I wanted to see, like, boss, like, CEO, boss, bitch, Josh.
I thought it was really cringy. Because, like, first of all, like, I know that I'm, like, I feel like I'm critiquing it a lot, but I actually liked it. I saw on the plane ride over from the US to here. And, like, I actually enjoyed it, but I think it's because I had read the book.
Yeah, I think if you watched it without reading the book, I watched it with my mom, and my mom was like, it was fine.
It was a little interesting.
It's just, like, I loved how faithful it was. I think that the guy that played Josh was just not who I would have casted.
Okay, me either. And I feel horrible saying that because it's like someone's career, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like, I didn't like him either.
You know who was supposed to play him was Robbie Amell.
He would have been great.
Oh, I know. He would have been a perfect. Because the guy that plays Josh, scheduling conflicts. The guy that played him, Josh, I think his name's like Austin Stowell, something like that. But he's really hot. He just seems like a nice guy. Like, he looks like a nice guy energy. And I feel like Josh needed a mean-head energy guy.
Okay, and that's, like, literally my complaint. Because I feel like if you're an actor, you do what you gotta do. Like, even if you have those vibes, you should, whatever.
Be good at it.
But and part of it, to me, was actually not even the actor, it was the dialogue. Because, like...
Yeah, some of the dialogue was hella cringy.
It was...
Especially their fighting scenes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, in the beginning... when they're fighting, it seems so cringy to me that I just try to, like, picture the book and not what's actually happening. Because I would have stopped. Like, I hate Hallmark movies. And, like...
Really, I love them. I did love the ending, though, when Josh is at a different company and, like, Lucy and him are on the phone and she's like, you can't poach my employee.
That was a really good scene.
And then they're like, they, like, hang up and...
She was like, hey, so how was your day?
That was so sexy to me. I would love... If I could have any life, I would choose Lucy from... It's fine.
Yeah, no. I think that was good as well. But I agree. I didn't like... I was a little bit uncomfortable. Like I didn't like it. I don't like to feel embarrassed while I'm watching this.
You got too much secondhand embarrassment. No. That's me with the Love Hypothesis. That book... I have never experienced as bad as
Wait, why?
Do you remember when you had to put sunscreen on him? Oh my god, I had to take a 1 mile walk after that. Because she's like fake dating the professor and her friend puts too much they're at like this like picnic for everybody that goes to the school.
Yes, I remember that.
And her friend is like, okay, guys, we need to put on sunscreen. It's hot outside. And
Okay.
so then Olive puts her hands out, and her friend squirts way too much sunscreen in her hands. And the friend's like, oh, well, just put the extra sunscreen on Adam.
Yeah.
And so then Adam's shirtless playing Frisbee with all of his coworkers. And the friend's like, Adam, she's going to put sunscreen on you. And then, like, she has to rub sunscreen all over him in front of everyone.
It's not that bad.
Oh, it was bad. It's bad. When you read it in the moment, I was literally, like, so embarrassed. Literally, they do I think it's just the fake dating trope.
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing. I love it, but it's so embarrassing.
You know, have you ever had like a moment with a guy that was so embarrassing that like, I think there was one time there was something so embarrassing that happened that my sister like literally reminds me about every day.
What happened? I'll tell you my embarrassing. You go first.
She, like, I didn't even think it was that bad, but she says that like every time she thinks about it, she wants to cry. I actually did cry when it happened.
Oh no, what was it?
Okay, my brother was like in firefighter school, and some guy he was in firefighter school with actually went to school with me, right? And like he was over the house, and we were talking about a Marvel movie that had like just Ends Game, right?
Okay.
End Game, not Ends, whatever. And we're talking about it, and I spoiled the ending.
Oh no, had you not seen it yet?
He had not seen it, right?
Is that it?
No.
Oh no.
So I spoiled the ending, and then my family calls me geeky. So my brother was like, geeky? And I was like, oh my god, I know. I get up and I run away, right? And like, I'm so sorry, and I just run.
Was the guy mad?
I don't know, but
Okay.
I literally run to my room, and I just cried in my bedroom. Anyways, so my sister was like, why did you run? It doesn't sound as bad
You
as it
have a funny
actually
run?
was. I have a regular run.
You want to hear my embarrassing story?
Embarrassing the story?
Yeah, one time a guy asked me to... Oh my god, I hope to god he doesn't watch this because we're still friends.
I hope he does.
I'll try to change the story a little bit. One time a guy and I did something. Not like sexual, like we went to do something.
Oh, okay.
And,
yeah, you gotta clarify that.
Yeah.
My mind was running.
Okay, we went to go somewhere. And like, he paid for everything and I kept trying to pay him. I was like, no, I'm gonna pay for my share. Because I didn't want it to be like a date. But I'm pretty sure that he thought it was. And so then... the money that I gave him, he, like, tried to slide it in my butt pocket, like, while I was sitting.
That could have been really sexy if he was hot.
We got to my house, like, we were driving home, and we got to my house,
Okay.
and he unbuckles his seatbelt,
Yeah.
and he, like...
Oh, no.
I unbutton my seatbelt, I open the car door, and I fall out onto the grass on my back.
That makes me so happy.
I did not want to kiss him. So I literally just like, I was literally like, and I just fell. And I was like, have a nice night! And then I ran inside.
I've rejected a guy's kiss before. I'm starting to get drunk. During COVID, a guy, like, okay, him and I were good friends, like, pobrecito. And he was like,
What? I don't even know what that means.
so he was like, poor guy, like, or poor her, like, I don't know how to translate it. It's like, poor guy, right? So,
That's a lot of wine.
this guy, right? It's COVID. I stayed in Gainesville, where I went to school, University of Florida, go Gators. And basically, I stayed on campus because I had to work, and my friends had already gone home, so I was by myself. And then my friend was still there, and he had asked me out when we had first started dating, and I had said no. And like, it was like,
Wait,
you know,
he asked you out when you first started dating?
no, when we first became friends, when we first met, right, he had asked me out, and I had told him no. And like, we stayed friends, whatever. I would see him all the time. He was super nice, whatever. And whatever. So we started hanging out during COVID. And then at one point, like, and honestly, I feel like it's my fault because it was very obvious to everyone except for me. He asked me to go see the sunset and like prank.
That's romantic.
Okay, see, that's what everyone said. In Payne's Prairie, which is like this like national park in Gainesville. And I said yeah, because, like, there was nothing else to do. We had hung out the night before. We went, like, we drank wine at his apartment. Like, very romantic stuff, but I didn't think about it that way.
Nicole, why?
Basically, we went to Painsbury, the state park, and we were sitting on the dashboard of his car. And, like, he leaned in and kissed me on the cheek, right? And I was like... and I go... Like, I remember he was like...
Nicole,
and the
how
right...
did you were watching the sunset and drinking wine?
Uh-huh. And I didn't... because in my head, I'm like...
Out of all the romance novels you read?
Because I had already told him no.
So you just thought he figured...
Like, I just looked at him and I was like, are you okay with being friends? And he was like, yeah. And then we stayed silent, and then he was like, but you know I like it. No, he was like, you know I like you, right? And I was like, no, I didn't.
Was he cute?
No.
Damn.
Yeah. I feel like our personalities interconnected really well, but I think something that turned me off was the fact that, like, I think, like, he was at my beck and call. Like, it was too one-sided. It was like...
He liked you too much.
Yeah.
He was...
I was a little child. I didn't know any
wee
better.
child, as
wee
they say
child.
in Scotland.
Yeah.
I have a wee look. That's what they say.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna try to actually talk about a book now. Oh, we have one left.
House of the Ceruleans yet?
No, the
Heartstopper.
Heartstopper.
Okay.
Heartstopper.
So that's on Netflix. If you're not familiar with it.
It's also a book.
Also a book.
A graphic novel.
It's a graphic novel by Alice Osman. Yeah.
That was so good.
I never read it. I read her other book.
You didn't read Heartstopper?
No,
Okay, we were talking about Heartstopper.
Yeah. Okay, tell
So
me.
we had to switch to my iPhone because my baby camera was just working too hard. The internal temp was too high, the battery was gone, the memory space was gone, everything was just gone.
If you come to Europe, there's no AC, no ice, and
yeah,
it's literally hell.
I've never had my camera say internal temperature too high before.
Right. And we're indoors.
Okay, but we were talking about Heartstopper.
Okay.
Nicole's never read the book.
No.
I have.
Okay.
I love Heartstopper, and you should read it. But I will say...
Have you read graphic novels before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Okay.
Wait, you know
I also have read a lot of manga, so...
I haven't either. I feel like I'm not the best POV for this. But,
POV for this.
What did you think of the show? Because I also haven't watched the show.
I haven't seen the show yet.
So, I'm an English teacher, and my students loved it. They were telling me to watch it.
I've heard a lot of people liked it.
Oh, I know Alice Osman because of her book, Radio Silence, which is really good. The reason I know that is because, like, someone that was editing one of my past books, it's not published or anything.
It will be one day. Keep your
eyes
eyes out, guys.
But anyways, she has in her bio of her Goodreads that her favorite book is Radio Silence.
Okay, so did you read it?
I read it and I really liked it. And I'm very picky with YA now because I'm not a young adult anymore. Does that make sense? And like YA, I've always
YA
loved...
is timeless, but there are some that make more sense to read when you're young, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I loved Radio Silence. It's really good. So 10 out of 10 recommend. So that's how I know Alice Osman. But after that, I tried to read Heartstopper, but I don't think I'm that into graphic novels. I have read a couple.
You should just try because they're so good. They're so cute.
Yeah.
And like the color scheme is like pastels and like blues and greens, and it's so cute and pretty.
Really?
Yeah.
I just can't get over the fact that my ears stick out of my head. I didn't know that. I feel like I've seen pictures of myself, but I didn't know they did that. Like, look at them. I look like I don't.
But my ears are different. This ear is different than this ear.
Really?
Like, if you, like, feel my ear, this part is flappy. Like, if you do this, you can... Do you hear that? Do you feel that?
Yeah.
But then feel this ear. It doesn't have that.
No, it's all cartilage.
Yeah. But this one's got, like, an extra flap right here.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Fun fact about our ears. This quality is not as good, but if you've made it this far, you probably don't care.
I hope you're drinking wine, too. Like, it'd be so sad if people were watching this over.
They probably are. It's probably my mother.
I'm so sorry, Cindy.
When I edit this, that's gonna be such a fun time because this was a literal shit show.
No, it was
We
pretty
should do
chaotic.
this again. Okay, guys. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. My name is Elayne.
I'm Nicole.
Nicole over there, and yeah, hope to see you again soon.
Cheers.
With your left hand. Nicole makes us do this thing where we always have to cheer with our left hand and stare into each other's eyes, or else you have bad sex for a year.
It's real.
Okay, goodbye.